F2 Racing League. Bear with me one moment while I sort out my audio settings. Make sure they're not too loud, so you can hear my voice no problem. Okay, so today we are looking at the F2 Championship for Rayners Racing League, sponsored by Sim Racing Coin, a cryptocurrency designed to reward esport racers with their crypto coins, so they can buy all sorts of racing and esport gear that they would like to use, like steering wheels, seats, monitors, that kind of thing. Quite a new cryptocurrency, so I would suggest you getting online and having a little look and see what they've got to offer. Okay, so we are looking at Q1 at the qualifying session, 30 minutes, and our first car out is Carter P and Correct Savant. So currently at the moment we only have the two cars on the track. They'll be doing their out laps, warming up the tyres, and we'll be seeing how they do. So we've got Devil's Nightmare also jumping out on track. At the moment we have 17 racers with us today. Hopefully we may have a couple more jumping in just before the race, but they will be starting at the back. To all our YouTube viewers out there, we do like you to make your comments, and hopefully we get to see what we can do. Really, about spreading the word for this racing league and get more people joining us. What I would like to see is see comments saying who you think is going to win, who you think is going to get pole position, and who you are backing to, for a good performance today. So we do have Correct Savant on a flying lap at the moment. Let's get his details up. So they are all going for soft tyres. We do have Devil's Nightmare and Jacob Motorsport going for mediums. So we can see that nice line through sector 1 and 2 at the moment with Correct Savant. At the moment, obviously, hitting purple, coming through the last few 3 corners. These are quite technical. They've got slowest corner is turn 13. Really tight. You have got to speed right down to make that corner. Turn 14, a little bit wider than 13, and then you're on to the pit straight. Now this course does have 14 corners. That is 14 corners, so that's 8 to the right and 6 to the left. There is a 2-part DRS zone with 1 detection point. So it is on the pit straight and the second straight after that. So it's 1 detection point. So if you get the DRS down 1, you're getting it through the next, which is great for turn 1 overtakes. Gives you that bit of a clearance there before hitting into turn 2. And Correct Savant has given us a 129.6, which is a nice time. Carter P has given us a 132.4, and Devil's Nightmare has just sprung in with a 130.9 on mediums. That's a good time. That is a little bit off of Correct Savant. It's over a second away, but it's still a decent time for being on mediums. Now we do have more drivers out on laps. Let's go down to Jacob Motorsport, who is the other driver on mediums, and see how they do. I can see there's a little bit of lag going on here. Don't know whether this has come from Jacob Motorsport himself or it's from someone else that's causing lag on the circuit at the moment, but hopefully it won't affect us now. A little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of oversteer, caught nicely, a little bit wide on the last turn, late touch, a little bit on the road, and it gives us a 131.9, a second behind Devil's Nightmare on the same tyre. So Devil's Nightmare with a good time, Carter with a new time of 131.0, a fantastic improvement there for Carter. While this is going on and we've got our little drivers in the pits, we are looking to see who will be getting pole. So top drivers, we've got LH44, Rayner, Apex can pull off a very good time. Good Duty's quite quick. Magnus can pull off a surprising time as well. Jim Strav is quite strong. So we've got some very quick drivers out there in the groups, and we've got Cairo that is on a flying lap. Let's jump on with board of Cairo as he here goes through turn 2. Now, turn 4 is the turn that everybody will be looking at. That's an invalid time. That's probably because he's run on over a corner. Turn 4 is where track limits will be exploited more than anywhere else. And it's absolutely fantastic drive there by Cairo, but unfortunately it is not going to count. Once you go onto the curbs, that goes over go over one of the lines. That's it. That's your lap invalidated, even if you're not making any extra time. So what Cairo should do now is recharge those batteries, get as much ERS ready, and hammer it. I do apologise, I don't believe they do have ERS in these vehicles, but get those tyres up to scratch, get them ready for another fast lap. And we do, like a lot of drivers I have spoken to a couple of drivers regarding this track, and they are looking forward to some of the corners here. Turn 4 is absolutely fantastic for competition. People wondering what kind of setup they should be using. Well, this is quite a technical circuit. It's got a lot more corners than straights, so a higher downforce is needed, especially taking turn 4, turn 3, and possibly turn 11 at the speeds that you really wanted to be taking them. So far we've only got 4 times of set. Pardon me. And Cairo again having another invalidated lap. Let's jump on board with Drew and let's see how he's doing. Now Drew is up in sector 2. Goes over the line a little bit, but not enough to get that lap invalidated. What we're going to do now is, while Drew is running this lap round, we'll see how he does, and then I'll go through the course. So, as you can see, the course has 2 large, equivalent to 5 hairpins. So you look at turn 1, turn 2, turn 5, turn 13 and turn 14 are all hairpin turns. There are only 2 corners that are actually named after anybody, and I'm going to leave it up to our YouTube viewers to let me know what they think. So if you know, if any of our viewers, if you know what corners are named after someone, and what they're named after. Just let us know, because it's just a little bit of fun. Let's see if anybody does know anything about the Hungaroring circuit, because there is only 2 corners with a name. Right. So I'm going to find someone I can jump on board with to give you a rundown of the lap. And it does look like we've got anybody on that lap. We've got Maverick on that lap and Sizen. Cairo's probably going to try and get a fast lap. We've got Correct Savant on a 129.6, Cairo on a 130.6, Jacob Motorsport on a 130.7 on mediums, Devil's Nightmare on a 130.7 on mediums, Druo on a 130.9, Carter on a 131.0. Right, so Maverick has just started. And let's see, let's jump on board. So, oh, a little bit of a mistake there, and I will let Maverick recover his drive. So we've got Sizen coming on turn 1. So after turn 1, it does get you've got like a 1B turn here. It goes. You've got to get right over to the right hand side. Ready for turn 2. Turn 2 is a bit downhill, so you can lock up and you can overshoot it, but you need to get it nice and smooth, not to go too far wide, because you want to settle for a nice sweep through turn 3. Could have took that a little bit wider there, Sizen, but that's okay. Wide on 4, cut right in. Watch that outside curve, because you don't want to touch that. Nice and tight round 5, not to touch the curve because it does make you spin out. Right wide up here onto turn 6 and 7, so tight in. Bit similar to the chicane at Canada. Round 8 is quite important because you need to tuck in quite tight. Go too far, you ruin turn 9, because turn 10 is flat through. You want to get fast through there, ready for turn 11, which is our next braking zone. Cut right across, touch that turn curve, and stay wide. You've got to stay right wide. Now I can see Sizen moving, wiggling that back and forth. A little bit too slow around that corner there, Sizen. And another wide corner, cut in nice and tight. Stay in tight. Open up. That's a nice line there through turn 13. Onto 14. 14, you need to be a little bit tighter. You want to be near enough touching that white curb. And then wide again onto the back straight. Now that is a time of 132.5. Sizen did make a few mistakes on that lap, but I am sure he can make up for that. If we jump down to Maverick, who should be on a better flying lap now. Almost going wide there, that was a nice line. Needs to be tight up on turn 5. Needs to be near enough touching that curve. Nice and wide, ready for turn 6 and 7. Nicely through, get wide again. Turn 8, tucking in a bit tighter. Opens up for 9. Flying through 10. I am going to open up the telemetry because I want to see if anybody does put all their effort into getting. I'm seeing Maverick go up the gears quite quickly. Needs to be tight on turn 13. Lock in on turn 14, but does get that nicer, tighter line. For 131.2. So he does jump one place. Gets himself in the mid-pack battle. Have we got anybody else who's so Correct Savant, Cairo, Jacob Motorsport, who's currently on a flying lap, doing a little bit better. I think Jacob Motorsport has got a bit of lag going on his connection at the moment. his car doesn't seem to be lined up, so I will come off that. We're now on to Carter P, who is taking a nice line, sides and moving out of the way so not to disrupt his lap. Carter is going out quite a lot. He is beaten down by 5/100ths, but that's a gap that can be fixed. We've got Apex. Apex is on a outlap, so taking it nice and gentle, not to ruin those tyres just yet. Benjamin Cardiff is also on an outlap. He has gone through 10. He's gone through 10 there, onto 11. Taking it nice and gentle, not to put too much wear and tear on those tyres. We've got a new time. Maverick has jumped up to 1:30.5. That's a good time by Maverick. Okay, so again, I'm going to run through the lap with Benjamin Cardiff and see how that goes. So down the pit straight, needs to be a little bit, almost touching that white line on the left. It's moving over and nice braking, cuts in, doesn't cut in enough there to make any significant movements, but does get right across, ready for turn 2. Turn 2, brake a little bit earlier than what you really think, because you run wide, just like Benjamin did, but he's nice and tight for 3, cuts across. Nice cut from turn 3, up onto turn 4. Turn 4, you have to watch the exit more than the entry. Cuts it nicely. Could take that a little bit quicker, but didn't want to invalidate his time. He's got a slow car in front of him as well, so that might put him off. Carter out of the way, no problem. Into turns 5 and 6, 7. So 5, you didn't want to go too close to the curb, but you want to get close enough. 8, you don't want to sweep out too far. That's a nice line there from Ben. Through onto 10. 10 is flat out. You should be taking it flat out. Onto 11. 11, you've got to break in, but not too much. So you want to open up wide, ready into 12. 12 is a sharp turn. You brake hard, brake it nicely in. Take the track wide. Use the width. Around 13, you've got to be touching that inside curb, not on it, just touching. And again for 14, you want the same again. This is a little bit wide. Late Apex are good for if you're going for an overtake, but for the fastest lap you want to get equal Apex. You want to be a little bit tighter towards that inside curve. But that is a good time of a 1:30.0, a good time for Benjamin Cardiff. Improvements can be done on that lap. So corners for our viewers, so if you're listening, to look out for. 10 4 is where your track limits will be pushed. 10 5 is risky for the inside curve. You don't want to be touching that. Same as 13 and 14. 14 is with the inside wall. You don't want to be clipping the wing on that. Turns 6 and 7 at the chicanes. Sausage curves will take a lot of time out of you. If you run wide on 8, you're going to ruin your run down to all the way down to 10, 11. Turn 12 and 13 are quite tight. They are your turn 12 is your overtaking point. Corner's not too tight where you can't get round it 2x2, but it's slow enough for those cars behind to make a dive in there. So I'm going to run through the times again that we've got of our drivers that are currently put a lap into a correct Savant on a 1:29.6. We have Benjamin Cardiff on a 1:30.0. We have Cairo on a 1:30.4. The Maverick on a 1:30.5. Jacob Motorsport on a 1:30.5. Literally only 7 1/1000ths between him and Maverick. Devil's Nightmare on a 1:30.7. Drew on a 1:30.9. Carter P on a 1:30.7. 1:30.9. He is only 4 hundredths between himself and Drew. And we've got Apex put the fastest time of 1:28.9. This big Apex has got the ability to put a good run in there. And I'm expecting Quad Duty, LH44, Rayner, and Magnus, James Straff, Dragon on speed with has had some good laps. I'm going to jump on with Quad Duty. Oh, who was that? Was off? Drew off. Hopefully that hasn't ruined his car too much where he actually might be able to come out and do another lap. Well, let's jump on with Rayners on an out lap at the moment. He's about to quit. It looks like, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but those grey clouds look like there could be rain on the way. Quad Duty currently going through 10-10. He has got a car in front, so I don't know whether that's going to affect him. And we've just got a new time in, and I'm trying to see Dragon on speed of 1:29.7. Very good time there, Dragon. So currently Quad Duty has got a purple sector 2. His lap doesn't look fast, but that could be because it's smooth. Let's see where he jumps up to. And he's second, 1:29.0. Only 8 100ths between himself and Apex. LH44 is on an out lap. Let's jump on with Rayner. Rayner has got halfway around the circuit. He is on 10-10 now. Push him on 10-11. He now takes the purple sector for sector 2. It's nice and tight in. Oh, and we have a new time in there. Let's see if Magnus with 1:29.2. A fantastic time by Magnus. Rayner with a 1:28.6. That's 3 tenths off of the previous fastest time. A great time by Rayner. And we have a yellow sector 1. Magnus slowing down, didn't want to get in the way of anybody doing a fast lap, so I applaud him for his sportsmanship. Still to put a lap in, it's LH44, Jim Shav and Liam. LH44 currently on a fast lap. He has just started his fast lap. Drew going a little bit slow. He is letting Rayner go past. He doesn't want to interfere with anybody's fast lap, so again, good sportsmanship. But I'm going to stay on with LH44 with his fast lap. Let's see details of the best laps. At the moment we've got Jacob Motorsport and Devil's Nightmare, both still on the mediums, and Sizen both mediums for their best lap. But they are back out with the soft tyre, so they might improve on those times of this tyre. So as you can see, Liam is LH44 has got a good line through 10s, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Taking it wide, right on that line. Cuts in nice and tight. Good second half of the lap for LH44. Wish I'd watched it from the very beginning, because that looked like brilliant. And he's up there with a 1:28.6 and Quad Duty with a 1:28.5. Now that there is a close packed front four. LH44, after doing a fantastic lap, just lets the car slip a little. And it might be just in time, because it looks like there might be a sprinkle of rain on this course, because those clouds are getting darker. Let's have a look at down the line, because we've got Liam. Now Liam is a fantastic. He's got the quickest sector 2 so far. He's nice and tight along turn 2. Could have took a little bit wider, which means he could have had a bit more speed. Nice line in on turn 13. Quite close to the curb. Round to 14, a little bit wide, but is he going for the late apex? He is going for the late apex. Gives him a bit more speed down the final straight, but Liam on a 129.8. Now I do believe that there might have been a problem earlier on because he had a good first sector. Oh, he spins out. Spins out. Best thing for Liam to do now is recuperate, sort himself out, and go in for another fast lap as soon as he can. LH44, not improved on this on the previous lap time by the looks of it. No, it's up by 2 seconds. Quadruti on another out lap. He's just come out the pits. Rayner might, I think Rayner might come in on this lap here because he's got a fantastic time. I don't know if he can improve on that. Apex on an out lap. Magnus going into the pits. Correct Savant. Coming around 10-13. Now 10-14. Emperor's up wide. I think he empered up wide a little bit too early there. 130.1. No improvement there. Now Liam he's slowed down. And he's back in the pits. Is he going to get some fresh rubber on straight away, refuel and get back out for another quick run? Benjamin Cardiff is out on an out lap. Take it easy, warm those tyres up, get ready for a very fast lap. Devil's Nightmare is going a little bit there. Okay, times have been improved. So we've got, start from top to bottom, we've got Rayners on a 128.5, Quadruti on a 128.5, LH44 on a 128.6, Jacob Motorsports on a 128.8, Apex on a 128.9, Magnus on a 129.2, Jim Shav on a 129.5, Correct Savant on a 129.6, Dragon on Speed on a 129.7, Liam on a 129.8, Benjamin Cardiff on a 129.9, Cairo on a 130.3, Devil's Nightmare on 130.4, and he is going to be on an outlap, so hopefully he might have enough time to get. Oh no, he's coming into the pit. I do apologise. Maverick on a 130.5, Carter on a 130.8, Drew on a 130.9, and Sizen on a 132.0. Good times by everybody. And we'll see how this goes. LH44, he hasn't managed to get any more time off as Jacob Motorsport. We only have 1 minute 15 left of qualifying, so Jacob Motorsport is stretching it out to the last seconds. Jim Strav on a flying lap, Apex on a flying lap, Magnus on an out lap. He should be able to make that in time. He should be able to make that line in time to do a fast lap. Dragon on Speed. Not too sure if he's got enough time to get that outlet, across that line before the time runs out. Liam at 10:13. I do believe he's just in front of Magnus, so he should have plenty of time to get that across that line. Devil's Nightmare, Maverick in the pits, along with Drew and Sizen. For duty on that lap, he's got 24 seconds to make these last couple of corners count. 20 seconds. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna. I said this is Quad Duty. This is Quad Duty. Can he get on this out lap just in time? No, not until, no, he hasn't. He has not been able to do that. So we are looking at LH44, which looks like to me he's just going to take the checker flag. Checker Motorsports. A little bit, the lag on the connection there with the camera. 129.8, no change to his position. Apex still got a lap to go. Magnus with half a lap to go. Dragon on speed on his out lap. Liam on his out lap. Magnus, get out the way for Liam. Very sportsmanlike. He realised that Liam did have a faster, was having a faster lap than him, and allowed Liam to get past. Now Liam has improved his time just by a little bit, so he's at 129.7. He is only 5/100ths behind Dragon on speed, who is slowed right down for that final lap. Magnus in the pits, and that is everybody. There's everybody either in the pits or if they have collected the checker flag. We are just waiting for the next phase to open up for us. We should probably be waiting until Apex is fully in the pits and the checker flag's been given to him. And we are got the qualifications standings are Rayners in first, Quadruti in second, Jibstrab in third, LH44 in fourth, Jacob Motorsport in fifth, Apex in sixth, Magnus in seventh, Correct Savant in eighth, Dragon on Speed in ninth, Liam in 10th, Benjamin Cardiff in 11th, Cairo in 12th, Devil's Nightmare in 13th, The Maverick in 14th, Carter in 15th, Drew in 16th, Sizen in 17th, and that's our positions. Okay, so we are waiting for our drivers to have their setups ready and we can get going for round 15. See, a lot of drivers are ready to go. Session will start in very soon. And here we are. We have our drivers pretty much ready to go for a formation lap. And there's one. And we go. Formation lap. This is the perfect opportunity for our drivers to be getting all the heat they can into those tyres. Now, as everybody knows with F2, because all the cars are pretty much the same, there's not going to be any car advantage really for these drivers. It's all down to their skill, and as we can see already, Quadruti clipped the back wheel of Rayner, and now both drivers have been disqualified from the formation lap, so they'll be sitting on the front front row of the grid, waiting for the rest of the pack to catch up. Now we can see that the weather has cleared up quite a lot, so it looks like we won't be expecting any rain, not like we did for qualifying. So Jim Strav is leading the pack now that Rayner and Quadruti have been removed from the formation lap. Using this straight to get this much heat, but there's a big gap between Jim Strav and Sizen. The gap has opened up quite a lot, so I think Jim Strav did rush the formation lap quite a bit. So we'll jump on board with Sizen at the moment, who is at the pack. Warming his tyres up. He is trying to push along Duro to close the gaps. So Duro has left a massive gap between himself and Carter, which does affect all the other drivers because they don't keep the heat in the tyres, because they'll be waiting a lot longer on the grid. So we have all our drivers now rolling up onto the grid. Sizen and Duro joining the back. And here we go. Just waiting for... There's 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. They're out and away we go. Straight away, drivers are battling for position. I will wait until our system has cleared up, because although it's just Rayner, it does look like on our screen is in first. He's showing up that he's actually in 8th, but that will sort itself out soon. 310.2, a little bit wider than what they really wanted, but they cut in quite nicely. 310.3. Up to 10.4, you can see there's one car going wide, and I can't see who that was, but I will. I think that was Correct Savant. Correct Savant with front wing damage now, after taking his little detour. Little jostle around, Devil's Nightmare up down a queue. Jim Strav has made moves up into the top 3, and Apex has managed to catch it back. So I'm going to bring up our position change to see where everybody's gone. So Apex is up by 2 places. 4-4 is out of 4th into 6th. Mid front pack is LH44 can easily climb through that. We have Magnus, who's dropped down. Magnus is equal to what he is now, sorry. Drew is up 8 places. That's a fantastic fight forward by Drew. Dragging him on speed in the same place. Sizen is up 7. Sizen did start at the very back of the grid, managed to get round and up into the positions. Dragon on speed is pushing his way up as well. So Drew is up 7 places. Sizen is up 7 places. Drew has managed to get up one more again. Cairo, Devil's Nightmare is up by 1. Liam's dropped down 3 places, but Liam is a fighter. He will be fighting for those positions back. Carter's up by 1. Jim Strav's down by 12. Unsure what's happened there, why Jim Strav is down there, but we'll find out at the end. Maverick. I think Jim Strav and the Maverick was down quite low. The only 2 people to get really past them has been dragging on speed. And already Jacob Motorsport has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That would be track limits. Easy to pick up warnings and penalties for that on this course because it is quite twisty, quite technical. Lock up there by the Maverick. That will take a big chunk out of his wheels, giving Devil's Nightmare, a correct Savant, a chance to close that gap down. Now correct Savant has still got damage on that front wing. It will not help with him at this course being quite technical. So in the lead we do have Rayners, followed closely behind by Quad Duty by 0.6 seconds, 0.7 seconds. Apex follows with a 1.6, and we do have a yellow flag in sector 1, and that was Liam. I think Liam might have spun out. Cairo with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as Liam has got front wing damage, so he will be paying a visit into the pits at one point. Apex in third, Jacob Motorsport in fourth, but he does carry a 3-second penalty, so that will drop him down. LH44 in fifth. He will certainly be battling a little further up. He is getting closer and closer to Jacob Motorsport as we speak. Magnus in sixth. He's up one place. Magnus had his lap, I wouldn't say ruined, but more obstructed by a racer in the qualifying. So he could have got a bit of a quicker time, but it was unfortunately not able to do that, and gave up his second fast run to allow Liam to get a better chance of qualifying higher. Benjamin Cardiff up 4 places in 7th. It's got between him and Magnus. We have Sizen and Drew that are under each other's gearbox, as well as Dragon on Speed, who is sniffing in there as well. So these will be getting DRS on each other. This is the DRS train that you hear about. And I think that was Kyra that went wide. Or was it Drew? I think Drew went wide. Yeah, it was Drew. Drew went wide on that corner, and again goes wide at turn 4. We'll be expecting penalties to come towards Drew at some point if this carries on. Jim Strav, recovery drive, and someone loses a bit of front wing. Was that Drew lost it? No. The Maverick. Carter P is out. I think that was Carter's P, a bit of Carter's P wing that I saw came off. But luckily there's been no yellow flag. So Liam is behind by 14 seconds. Can he make that difference up and start getting back into the battle? We've caught Jim Stark with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Liam decides to stay out with that front wing damage. He's looking to make up differences, and a battle between Magnus and LH44. This could be interesting. So Magnus could just sit behind LH44, allow LH44 to close down that gap to Jacob Motorsport, and both of them aim to bring to get into a higher place. Or he could take LH44 and go for a Jacob Motorsport himself. Magnus is a fighter. I'm sure he will go for the second option. He is close enough that he can make moves, but he's got to play it right. He's got to time it well. And he is tighter on that tier 13 than LH44. Rayner with the new fastest lap of 1:30.9. For racing fast lap, that is very good. And he's opened up that space behind them to quit duty by 1.7 seconds. Fantastic effort by our current race leader. Carrier has jumped into the pits, so everybody has been starting to jump over. Will he get out before Jim Strav manages to get there? And that's Carrot out the pitch. Jim Strav has got past Liam with more wing damage. Was not able to turn that car in. A lot of understeer. Let's see how he handles this corner. Nice and tight. He has got a good line. He has got a very good racing line. It's just unfortunate he's got this damage on his wing. Understeer at turn 2. That's more damage to his front wing. I do think Liam will need to come in to have that fixed, because that's 2 collisions that could have been avoided. And it looks like he could be getting overlapped. He spins out. And he takes off the rest of his front wing. That's a big collision, and the car is still going. Let's see how he handles further down. You can see that he is fighting that car around all the bends bent at the moment. And it looks like we have someone who's going really slow at turn 1, and I think that was Sizen, but I will double check in a moment. Again, Liam going wide. But it is a nice line he's got there. Very wide on turn 13. Into the pit to turn 14. And that'll be Liam getting a front wing repair. Rayner in the lead. Liam with a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. Quad duty 2.5 seconds behind Rayner. Apex in the pits. This is front wing damage. Drew with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I think that was just a routine pit stop. Apex looking for the undercut. Sizen in the pit. Correct, so Ron's has been upgraded to 10th. So jump on board with Rayner at the moment as he's going around, but I might switch down to Magnus because he is right behind Jacob Motorsport. Very good race. Magnus going on the outside. Fair fight between Jacob Motorsport and Magnus. Magnus couldn't hold that position. Jacob Motorsport had to brake a bit hard there. Nearly kicked out of back. And he's into the pits. Maybe that's why he didn't really fight too much, because he knew he was going into the pits and wasn't going to change much for position wise. Magnus now up to 4th. LH44 currently in first. Magnus in second. Rayner in the pit, just coming out the pits along with Kajuti. So Apex's undercut has not worked on these two drivers. But Apex is in provisionally in third. We have LH44, Magnus and Devil's Nightmare 1, 2 and 3, but all still needing to pit. There might be enough gap there between for LH44 that he could stay in front of Apex. But that would depend on how quick that stop is and how quick LH44 gets around this lap. Correct Savant comes in a bit too tight on that entry to that corner. So the braking had to happen in the middle of that corner a little bit. Nice line through 6 and 7, 8. Nice. Doesn't go too far over, but not far. Did come back for enough to make 9 a bit easier. 10 should always be flat through before going on to 11. 12 harsh braking. Size them with another with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Around 13, 30. A lot of drivers are taking 13 far too wide. A little bit more braking, and that will make a massive difference. Now, Correct Savant will be coming in for a set of softs. So Benjamin's jumped up. We may have a battle up front with Rayner catching Devil's Nightmare. Devil's Nightmare still needs to pit, so this is not helping Devil's Nightmare if he gets overtaken by Rayner right now. It's a nice line. There is a bit of up and down movement in the lower ranks, all with penalties, so that'll be interesting to see how that finishes out. Liam has retired. Drew with a 3-second penalty. I don't know if that's his second or third. Oh, Devil's Nightmare goes wide. It goes well wide. And Rayner capitalises. So does Quaduti. Now, does this mean that the Devil's Nightmare will be going into the pits on this lap? No, he stays out. Devil's Nightmare staying out. So that's Rayner now starting to roll in that time of 14.5 seconds to Magnus. That time will come down slowly. It's up to Magnus to choose whether he believes it's time to pit or not. Pitting roughly loses 20 to 25 seconds depending on the pit team really. So we are expecting a lot of battles coming up soon. That was a whole second being taken off by Rayner through a half a lap. So Magnus, if you can hear me, it is time to get into the pits. Devil's Nightmare has crashed out. Sorry, wrong button. So we're trying to work out where that has happened. And it looks like it was from the exit of turn 7. Maybe lost it and just stacked it into the wall. But Devil's Nightmare was having a nice run. Still needed the pit, so maybe the lack of grip on the tyres has caused a problem with the grip and has caused a problem with the control. Do apologise, stuttering there. So that's promoted a lot of players up. So now we've got Magnus provisionally in pole. because LH44 has gone into the pits. Magnus has opened up a bit of a gap through that virtual safety car, but Rayner will start closing that in very quickly, so it's now down to 12.5 seconds. Rayner going through turn 4, doesn't go too far over, which is fantastic to see. Nice and tight in turn 5. Turn 6 touches both curves a little bit too much on the sausage curve there on turn 7. Around turn 8 goes so far wide it does ruin his time going through turn 10 and 11. 10 is always flat out. 11 harsh braking on it slightly and push through round to under 12. 12 is a very strong braking, cuts in a bit too early, had to do a double turn rather than one smooth turn into turn 13. Nice and tight compared to a lot of other drivers. Just carry with another 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Round turn 14, a little bit wider than what he should be doing because that invites other drivers on the inside. But he does touch the apex, which we wouldn't be able to do if a car got in there instead. And as a change, Duty has got past Magnus. Magnus is now in the pits, I should say. As we can see that all our drivers have pitted once. So now the order is Rayner in first, Duty right behind him in second. LH4 5 seconds behind, but catching quickly. Apex in 4th, Jacob Motorsport in 5th, Magnus in 6th, Benjamin Cardiff in 7th, Dragon on Speed in 8th, Jim Strav in 9th, Cairo in 10th, Drew in 11th, Sizen in 12th, Correct Savant in 13th, and the Maverick in 14th. If we add the penalties on, we can see that big changes will happen. So adding 6 seconds onto Jacob Motorsport, we'll see him equivalently into 7th. Jim Strav is lucky that the drivers behind him have got penalties, otherwise he will be losing a spot or two. Drew has got enough gap behind him to cover that 9 seconds. Sizen's lucky that fastest lap by LH44 of a 1:30.1, fantastic. Sizen has got 3 seconds penalty and Correct Savant with 6, meaning that Correct Savant will not be taking that place off Sizen as it stands. Magnus has made his move past Jacob's Motorsport. That would have been a fantastic move because Jacob Motorsport is a great driver, and that would have been in turn 1. So Magnus has made it worthwhile to wait until that when they could. Now Jacob Motorsport is not going to let Magnus get away that easy. He will be hunting them down all the way around that this course. They are on lap 14 out of 19. So we have this one and 5 more to do. Correct Savant is right behind Sizen right now. 2 drivers are so close. So Correct Savant needs to get past. I gave 3 seconds. And it's back and forth, back and forth. Outside goes to inside, but Sizen had the run in. Correct Savant had to brake a little bit harsher there on that corner to make sure he can make it. Sizen made that work, and that inside curb proved illustrious. Exactly how I explained it through qualifying. That front wheel touch it, just drags you back out. Drags the back out of on that corner, and you power through and you spin out. But he did well to keep it going. All that hard work he put in, getting up to Sizen and trying to take over has now been undone, and now he's got 4 seconds to catch up with. LH44 with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That's not great, especially when you've got racers such as Apex and Magnus hounding down from behind. So he would need to stay 3 points clear of Apex at this very moment to hold that podium position. Rayner currently 1.2 seconds in front of Quad Duty, having a flying lap. That is our closest battle as well, is our battle for first and second. Benjamin Carter with a 3-second penalty. Magnus with a 3-second penalty. It's so easy to pick up penalties, especially for turn 4, turns 11 and turn 12. So penalties are racking up and down the scale, with Sizen only having to think about, oh, I just have to be 9 seconds behind Drew to get that position. Apex makes a move on LH44, but that's into the pits. LH44 in the pit. As we can see that LH44 has come out and he's sitting in 9th. Now, we do have 4 laps left to go. Clouds are getting dark. So it was sunny earlier, but the rain looks like it could be rolling in soon. Are we looking at a rain at the end of this race, or are we looking at rain on the next race? And we're going to jump with Rayner and Quad Duty, because this battle is getting tighter and tighter. Quad Duty is reeling in Rayner on these last few laps, so the last few laps it will be interesting from the front. Usually we get a midfield pack battle, but currently it's quite hard to see how it's going to end up with everybody in different types of penalties. James Strav on 5, LH44 on 3, but LH44 on fresh tyres, so probably going to battle through. Dragon on speed sitting 1 second behind Benjamin Cardiff. Benjamin Cardiff's got a 3-second penalty, so you're looking at Dragon on speed sitting in potentially in 6th. And it seems like Quad Duty has let Rayner slip away after closing that gap down. All they had to do is hold under 1 second behind Rayner to get the DRS on the final straight. Dragon on speed looks like he is closing down Benjamin Cardiff, so we'll jump on that to see how that's going to end up. Now, Dragon on speed has got the potential here. If he gets past Benjamin Cardiff and makes 2.5 seconds on Jacob Roadsport, he could be taking that spot too. Because Dragon on speed has had some fantastic racing today. Majority are mediums. Only one person's done 2 stops, which is LH44. Devil's Nightmare, Liam and Carter have left the session. So, at the moment, no really massive movers on the board. Apex up 3, Magnus up 3, Benjamin Cardiff up 5, Dragon on speed up 2, Jim Strav LH44 down 5, but they're on fresh tyres at the moment, so they could be pushing back through. Dragon on speed closing even further down on Benjamin Cardiff. We have Dro up by 5 and Sizen up by 4. Kyra up by 2. So we've got different rates of where people have moved up and down. No really significant movers like 8, 9, 10. They've all been quite close. Tracking on speed right behind Benjamin Cardiff, sucking the exhaust fumes. As you can see, Benjamin Cardiff has got a nice placement. Magnus with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So that's 6 seconds. It's unbelievable. Magnus makes a move on Apex. Around the final corners. So we're now on the last lap now. So we've got currently on the last lap, around 10-4, we've got Rayners, Quachuti, Magnus with Quachuti over a 3-second penalty, 10-4 again. I knew that was going to happen. Knew a lot of drivers will have that happen, and it kind of makes this race with Rayners irrelevant, because there's no way that he could get past Rayners and gain 3 seconds without Rayners making a mistake. Magnus with 15 seconds behind plus 6-second penalty. He will drop down. Apex just has to be in that 3-second gap or 6-second gap to take that place back from Magnus. Jacob Motorsport on 6 seconds behind Apex with a 6-second penalty. Means that Jacob Motorsport could be after getting past Benjamin could, if he takes off a second off his lap, could be facing a 5th place finish. Jacob Motorsport on the last couple of ends. Connection issues again with Jacob Motorsport. Magnus finishes 4th. Jacob Motorsport in 5th. Benjamin on speed in 6th. Benjamin Cardiff in 7th. LH44 in 8th. Jim Schaff in 9th. Cara in 10th. Let's see how he finishes. Finishes 11th. Correct Savant. Come around the last bend. Finishing 12th. And Sizen finishes off the race. Sizen's got 12th because of the penalties to other drivers, and he's got the driver of the day. But honestly, driver of the day for me will be between Quachuti and Rayners, because they did not make any. Oh, actually, I'll go for Rayners. Rayners would have to get my driver of the day today because he did not make any mistakes. His tyre plan was on point, and he held his forward position quite well. If anybody has any other opinions regarding that, please let us know. But there was great battles between everybody. Apex 4-1 deserves credit for that as well. And as we can see, we got our finisher with Rayners, Quachuti and Apex, the top 3. Other drivers to note is Magnus, Jacob Motorsport, Dragon of Speed, Benjamin Cardiff, LH44, Jim Shav and Kyra, all with great battles. Dro did well in 11th. Sizen had a steady race, up the most places, but realistically it was a battle at the front that was respectfully I would say respectfully the best, really. Quad Duty closing down Rayner, unfortunately picking up 3 seconds, made that no finish could be happen. And so Jacob's happy with his P5. You did have a great race there, Jacobs Motorsports. And fair battle in between yourself and Magnus. That was very good. So we're on to our sprint race. Sprint races a little bit shorter, so people are daring to do more. No pit required, so if you can make your tyres last, then that's a bonus. As we can see, so some of our drivers have dropped out, but we are trying to get them back. And it's a formation lap again, so we can see that the top 10 places, the top 8 places have been reversed. So LH44 is in first, Benjamin Cardiff in second, Dragon on Speed in third, Jacob Motorsport in fourth, Magnus in fifth, Apex in sixth, Quad Duty in seventh, Rayner in eighth, Chimstrav in ninth, Cairo in 10th, Duro in 11th, Sizen in 12th, Kurt Savant in 13th, Maverick in 14th, Devil's Nightmare in 15th, Liam in 16th, and Carter in 17th. So we are trying to get these drivers at the back into our race. I will see if I can get them in. I do apologise. Well, I'll do this. We are lining up on the grid, ready for the start. So here we go. Various comments from our viewers, so let's have a look. Do apologise while I get it up. We are waiting for some drivers to get ready for the race, for the lights to start. Drivers can see them all on mediums. And we've got an error, so sorry guys, I'm going to have to cut off.